YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We've got another beautiful super scale Bell 206, the F08 from Xiang. This one comes ready to fly. We got ours with 2 batteries, direct drive tail, direct drive main. Assembly was a snap, quite literally, putting in these 2 fins. Didn't even have to do anything else. This thing is gorgeous. These are actually tinted windows, by the way. It just happens to be that they're very, very dark tinted. So they're definitely gonna get a ticket from the police. If you don't know about these yet, these batteries, you have to press the power button to turn them on. And there's the power indication, okay? There's also this red light here, and there's your optical flow sensor, okay? Now the optical flow sensor had all sorts of warnings in the manual, which kind of freaked me out because I was like, it can't fly over white, it can't fly over red, it can't fly over, and I'm like, what are you talking about? So just ignore all that and fly the thing. Okay, here we go. So sticks down and out, you have to unlock it. This is locked, like kill it. That's unlocked. Now it moves. See, when it's locked, nothing works, okay? Nothing. Unlocked, arm it. There it goes. And then this is a spring returned collective. So up you go, and we'll see how this does. Oh yeah, baby, look at that, so gorgeous. That is so dang sick. And I love it because it's a Bell 206, and look at the white line, that is so gorgeous. Oh my goodness, and guys, it's windy. Show them the windsock real quick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna spin the thing and just show you how it works. A little bit of movement here. We flew this inside real briefly as part of our unbox, and it felt a little bit wonk. Oh, there's some big gust of wind. Yeah. Let's see how it does with the gust of wind again. Just seeing how it's doing, guys. That's at a crosswind like this, that's kind of a tough thing to correct. As a pilot, I can tell you this. Flying helicopters, look at that white light, so cool. And by the way, there is a plug on the battery. That plug will allow you to use other Xiang lights that you've had in the past, and we had a couple of different competitive offerings. And boy, oh boy, that little light will add just that little extra scale detail you might want. Let's go over here in the sun here, camera crew.
Okay.
We'll actually stay in the shade, but we're gonna bring this thing out. Oh yes, look at those colors pop. So gorgeous. Definitely this thing flies amazing. I gotta say, outdoor flight should be no problem. Very tame. See the controls? In fact, it's so tame, I think it's time we do it before we switch to high rates. You ready?
Okay.
Okay, so here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this helicopter just chilling here. I'm gonna go up just a little bit, okay? All right, camera crew is gonna take the sticks.
That's what we're doing?
Yeah, she didn't know, I didn't tell her.
Whoops, did not.
There it is. She is flying, guys. Amazing. The camera crew and Brian Phillips RC here is flying. Just go out a little bit. There you go, just lean it out. Now turn it with the yaw from the rudder. There you go. Okay, so cool. All right, give it back to me. So she barely flew it, admittedly, guys, but I gotta say, the thing feels rock solid, and it is very windy, and that's one of the reasons why we love these scale helis that we've been playing with, because they have been really, really good lately. And let's take a step out here so we can get right next to it, guys. I gotta say, the confidence that you have when they're this rock solid makes it fun. And I gotta just show you this. When I move the stick, it doesn't move very much. So I'm gonna go to high rates and just show you. With high rates, you get a little bit better movement, but the thing is actually flying fantastically. It doesn't spin very fast, and so that is one thing to consider. Okay, so when you're flying, you're making maneuvers, the thing is very locked in, okay? So that can be good or bad depending on what you're trying to do. So just keep all that in mind. Obviously with the ground, it's gonna try to keep its position. So if you have something that's very fixed color, that's what they were talking about with that optical flow sensor, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn and bring it over here over the concrete. Now let's bring it over here and just show you what I'm talking about. It may struggle with solid colors, but there is a lot of distinction here on this concrete, I would have to think.
I would think so
but
too.
It's holding its altitude pretty decent.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a little bit of an undulation up and down. This is not a GPS heli drone, guys.
Yeah.
This is just a helicopter with a stabilizer. But you're gonna see that's where it's gonna struggle. is when you have changes in color is what it's looking for, I think. Okay, so now there is one other crazy feature. We've seen this on a couple of helicopters. I don't want to lose this thing because I really like Bell 206s, but there is an upside down. So let's get up a little bit higher, okay? So I'm a little bit higher. That's locking me out. It won't go any higher.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm gonna hit mode. I'm gonna hold it, okay? Oh crap, there was something I had to do to actually make it flip over.
Maybe so.
I have no idea what that thing is. So there's a manual and then there's the downward flow sensor here.
Flow.
So I'm gonna go manual and just see what that does. Yeah, it's still auto levels, folks. Okay, so it'll still go down. Will it go up? Yes, it will. So it lets you go up higher then. Now in manual mode, now I'm gonna flip to upside down. Nothing. Okay, so I don't know, there's gotta be something that we didn't read in the manual. By the way, I'm pulling full down stick and that's how quick it comes down. So just a couple of different trade-offs with some of these helicopters is the speed by which you can control. And I'm in high rates, folks. Now, there is an like a helicopter landing pad here. Oh, I'm gonna go back to optical flow sensor. Oh, so it's using the optical flow sensor to distinguish its position too. Because when I switch to manual, it blows away, but it's still auto leveling. You guys see what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. The wind's blowing hard. Watch this, I'll go to manual. There it goes, it's getting drifted. See, yep. Now I'm going back. See,
and it's holding.
See, it starts hold position, okay? Yeah. So the optical flow sensor is actually helping to hold the position. And so it's not using GPS, it's using a vision system to say, oh, the ground is moving away from me. I need to go back to my target, okay? So even in this heavy gusty wind, it's doing its very best, okay? So now there's screw pitch. I guess I'm gonna see what that does. I'm assuming that takes us to full manual mode.
The manual did not say what that is.
Well, that's not. It doesn't seem to be anything else.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna hit this land looking button. It's definitely not gonna be a return to home, but that's gonna be to land the aircraft, okay? So I'm gonna bring it in where I'd like it, okay? So I'm gonna bring it right here where we can see, okay? Kind of protected somewhat from the wind, and I'll just hit that down, and then it's gonna find the ground, and it's gonna land for you, and then it's gonna eventually power off the motor, okay? So it's not hard to do. Now, in order to reestablish flight, you're gonna have to sticks down and out, arm it, and then press the up, and it's gonna go up, okay? Now, I wonder if we did screw pitch if we were on the ground, if that's, see how slow it is to go up? That's one thing that's gonna scare the crap out of you the first time you try to fly this in your kitchen or your living room. So just be careful. It's gonna fly okay, but if this thing is in optical flow mode, you may run into problems, okay? So here on Brian Phillips RC, we don't just show them because we want you to buy them. We show them because we love this stuff. I'm gonna tell you something. This is probably one of the easier to fly helicopters we've done in a while. And I'm not just saying that because I want you to buy one. I want you to buy one because I love the Bell 206 and I want you flying. Now, we have reviewed several Bell 206s lately, and this one is definitely no exception. It is absolutely gorgeous. Good flight time so far. Definitely a little bit slow on the yaw axis. That could get you into trouble when you're flying, but the thing is really easy to fly, and that is definitely a good thing. You wanna go down by the pond for just a quick second?
You're at only 2 lights on your battery.
2 lights on the battery?
Yep.
Okay, well then we'll do it quick. How about that? So guys, we love flying. We got nature walks going on here. The helicopter is just loving it. It's doing great. It warned us about flickery light. It warned us about the sun. And so really what you need to do is if you have any concerns about whether the helicopter can perform in a given environment, what you need to do, okay, so let's try this real quick. I'm gonna go hold the upside down here again. Yeah, see, a lot of times you have to do 2 stick conditions, but I'm hearing a feedback beep. On some of the helicopters, you have to hook it up to a computer to actually turn that feature on. They warned us about that light, and that's part of the reason we wanted to do this by the pond, so you guys can see. Okay, you good? Man, that thing looks good. Oh, that is so dang gorgeous. Oh man, it's so dang gorgeous. Okay, just real quick, I'm just gonna take one short sorties over the water and just see what happens to the optical flow sensor. My guess is it's gonna be drifty when it's out over water. So they warned us about this on a couple of different helicopters over the years, and it's not that that they're just lying or anything like that. It's just more a matter of they want the optical flow sensor to have the best crack at success, okay, folks? And so what that means is if you're coming out over this, you know, like the dock, you're fine because you've got something to see. But once you go over water, it all looks exactly the same. So it's almost like flipping it to manual mode, okay? And when I say manual mode, I don't mean like you get to do 3D. I mean, it's basically going to not have anything to see on the ground, okay? So let's show you guys right next to the shore here. Let's bring them down to the rock quarry or whatever this place is. Oh, that looks so sweet watching the water move like that. Crystal clear waters. Oh yes, we dipped the tip. We dipped the tip, guys, look at that. So there you have it. The Bell 206 from Xiang, absolutely gorgeous. Well done helicopter. Looks the part, does the part. Yeah, give it a wide berth there. It is a little bit fly-by suggestion-y, and so I gotta say that's one thing you'll want to keep in mind when you fly around giant trees and different things that are not going to let you win. The other thing too is we haven't seen what this does when the power runs out. So I'm kind of curious, can we land on an uneven surface? Let's try. Oh, we have a little helipad here. We could try that, or we could try the rock. So this time I'm gonna hold the stick down, okay? Oh man, it's getting really windy. A lot of turbulence down there. This is where having a little extra authority would be handy. Okay, so whoa. See, once you get close to the ground, it's kind of like commits you to a landing. There it is, holding down on the stick. There it goes and it releases. Okay, so that worked pretty dang good, and that's not an ultra smooth area. Camera crew's gonna go over here so she can get the sun behind her to the side of her. And I'm just gonna tell you this, that helicopter did amazing. Really impressed with it. Obviously, there is no perfect solution for everybody in every application, but I'm gonna tell you this one did really nice. But it's very muted on the control system, okay? If you want to have more control authority, if you want to do 3D, all that stuff, this supposedly will flip upside down. We're going to have to look in the manual and see what it says. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off. I'm going to try to land on that rock if I can. That rock has a bit of a slope, so I'm not sure I can do it. So sticks down and out. Press up. Once it has enough, there it goes. Okay, so now it goes to a certain pre-designated height, by the way. And I just want to see if I can get it to land here. I don't know if it's gonna do it, folks. And there's a lot of wind from my left shoulder to my right. Oh, buddy, don't hit that rock. Don't hit that rock. That's like a multi-million-dollar helicopter there, guy. Little guy. Oh, that looks so sweet. And if it weren't windy, I wonder if we could get away with it, hon.
Maybe. It's close.
Oh, sure! Shibbity balls, that was so close. Oh man, that was close.
So windy.
I don't know, this angle just makes it not want to put down. But you know, I gotta say, I'm not a helicopter pilot. I just pretend to be one sometimes on YouTube. And I love helis. But this thing, oh yes, 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 yes! Look at this beautiful thing. Come and look at that creation. That thing is absolutely gorgeous, folks. I love it. It is so beautiful. I mean, can you ask for more from a little heli? I don't know, probably yes. But it's still dang good and I love the way it flies. My only concern is the stupid upside down flight that I don't even care about. I wanna show it working. So we're gonna go ahead and take off. We'll fly it up and check the manual and see if we're doing something wrong. We'll come right back with a highlight. Okay guys, in manual mode, it's faster, you see? So I can control it further in manual mode and it shuts out of high rates. If you land it in high rates, you have to turn it back on, okay? Look at the flashing light.
Oh yeah, I see it now.
Watch yourself, stop walking. So I just wanna show you guys, we got a beep. What are we, about 15, 20 seconds into the beeping?
Probably.
Whoa. And it's got a red flashing light on top now instead of a green, okay?
Yes.
So this is the warning that you're gonna look for, and it goes increasingly fast as it dies down, okay? These start flashing to indicate low, see?
Yep.
And this starts flashing, and they're all in sequence, okay? 1, 2, and 3 are in sequence. This one is not. By the way, your forward-facing light will not shut down that I know of from this micro PH1S connector, but you can also mount your camera that runs off of that for FPV flight if you're into that sort of thing. I'm not, so admittedly, I'm not gonna mention much more about it, but I wanted to catch that as I was flying back to the house to get the manual and show you the upside down flight mode. Because the way that these helicopters run out of battery is actually a really big deal.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna mean the difference between crashing in the water and losing a helicopter for some of you, and I'm gonna put that to locked mode, and it's gonna mean the difference between that and just living to see another day, okay?
Right.
These helis are awesome. Really well done, super impressed, but it's gonna lend itself to the beginner heli pilot. Here's the catch, and this is a big caveat. Beginner heli pilots are gonna tend to make a lot of the same mistakes that all beginner heli pilots make. And that is they're not gonna know how fast it's gonna move, and they're gonna make a decision that's gonna put them in a tree or a wall or a car. So just give yourself a wide berth. Try not to do it on an ultra windy day. Helicopters penetrate wind way easier than planes, but you still gotta be kind of careful because the wind is gonna challenge the optical flow sensor and its guidance system, which is based on what it sees looking straight down, okay? So just keep in mind, I don't know that there is a way to come out of the regular auto leveling. This screw pitch, I don't know what the hell that means. Screw pitch, we've heard it before. It's just one of these goofy things that these manufacturers use, and it's very disappointing because they really did a nice job on this transmitter because there are silk screens with images that help make it clear. But then if it doesn't do the thing that you're expecting, then I don't understand. There's gotta be a procedure that we have to do to actually turn it to flip upside down.
Yeah.
So we're gonna find it right now. We'll come right back.
Okay, we found the manual for the inverted flight mode. It's on page 10. Fly the aircraft to a height of 5 meters or more. First switch to the large rudder volume state, so high rates. And then...
I tried that. I held that for 2 seconds, or I heard the audible feedback, and it just didn't go, okay?
Okay.
So I did try to rock it, and it didn't go. So we'll try it again, but just keep reading there.
Okay, so you have to be in high rates first, then switch to manual flight mode, then press the inverted flight button for 2 seconds to enter the 1-key inverted flight mode. Then aileron rocker to the left or right quickly, hit the stick, and quickly back to the center. So all the way left or all the way right. The aircraft, according to the stick command, will automatically enter the 180-degree roll and hovering.
Either direction.
Either direction, yep. At this time,
we've seen this before, and it's worked before, so we're just gonna try it again. We got a new battery in here. We'll give it heck.
And you have to do the same thing to go back. You have to hold it
unless it goes to low voltage, and then it should automatically flip itself back over if it works like the other ones we've had.
Okay.
So we did it in a thunderstorm. Remember that one time? It was like crazy. Okay, so we're gonna try that. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, so unlock, arm, fresh battery. Let it spool up. Get it in the air with an upward movement. Come on. They want you 5 meters off the ground for this upside down stuff, okay? So I'm gonna go 5 meters up, but we're gonna go over here just because I wanna be over grass in case it crashes. It'll be more likely to not be destroyed. Okay, so we have to be in, that's fine. They want us in manual mode?
you have to go to high rates first.
Okay, high rates.
Then manual.
High rates, then manual. And then so you notice we're getting blown around worse now. That's because when you're in manual, it's gonna move more. Okay, so hold for 2 seconds and then quick. There you go. Now it flies just like a normal helicopter and it does all the things you did before. It's pretty cool. Let's throw caution to the wind. And that's what I'm talking about. It actually flies itself. But remember, there is no optical flow sensor now. That's why you gotta go to manual mode, folks.
Right.
So these birds are like, what the heck just happened to that thing? Okay, so now your controls are all the exact same direction that they had been. So let's just bring it down here. Oh, that looks so sweet. We have a full battery, so it's a good idea to do this on full battery. Oh, the light looks so sweet. Camera crew, stay on the right side of the sun.
Okay.
I'm gonna just kind of bring this over. Yeah. The wind really caught it there because there is no spatial awareness, but there is stabilization for auto leveling, okay? So it doesn't know where it's moving, but it knows what position it's in with accelerometers. And so if it weren't windy, this would work even better, guys. That is so dang cool. I wanted to bring it down low. Camera crew, you ready?
Okay.
Okay, so my objective in doing this is to just demonstrate that I am not a heli pilot, guys, okay? So for me to do this is unusual, okay? It's so dang cool. Okay, I'm gonna get downwind of it because that's where the light is. You ready? Can I bring it over here? It's so dang cool. So there you have it, guys. That's so cool. Okay, so now I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of flying upside down because it doesn't look scale, but I gotta say the fact that you can do it is very exciting and very fun, and it's thrilling, and that makes for one heck of a thumbnail for Brian Phillips RC. So let's just say, if you wanna flip that thing right side up, what do? You go up to altitude, you hold for 2 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, and then flip. I gotta get off of, oh, there it goes. So you see what happened? Now I'm gonna go back. Once I bring it close, because manual is gonna let you go faster, okay? Oh yeah, pretty speedy, but it's still auto levels, okay? And the screw pitch is basically like a recentering of the gyro, okay?
If you have to
replace servos or some linkage or something like that. What a beautiful helicopter. Now I'm gonna go back. Okay, so now it's gonna hold itself steady with the optical flow sensor, which, guys, I gotta say, I'm finally starting to get it with some of these helis. It's taken a lot of helicopters to do it. Let's go in this tall grass together for a second. These helicopters are getting so dang good, I gotta say. Look at the wind, look at the retention. I'm just giving it minor control authority just so I can get it where I want it. But then I'm just chilling there, right in the middle of the weeds. That is so cool. And that'd be grass, sorry, not weeds. Sorry, hey farmer, I shouldn't call them weeds. Kill. So that's why you don't go in the weeds with these small ones. So I wanted to teach you that. So I selflessly crashed my helicopter for you. Oh my goodness, that was so cool. Until I crashed it. Okay, so let's talk about what happened. Obviously, there's only so much you can do when you're flying these little guys because there's only so much weight carried here. And those stocks are strong. So if you're gonna cut grass, maybe some Kentucky blue or Bermuda, but not that stuff.
Not that.
Which is like giant trees for your helicopter. Okay, so now just out of curiosity, I wanna see if it takes off. My guess is it's probably going to be all screwed up, but if it's not, I'm gonna be really thrilled and it's gonna make for one heck of a selling point for Xiang. Unlocked, sticks down and out. Whoa, my knob was coming off. Tighten your knobs. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That is so freaking awesome. Remember, duck if it goes towards your face holes.
Okay. Stand behind you.
This is so cool, guys. I gotta say, Brian Phillips RC is always willing to crash them so that you can have a better experience and then put them right next to my eyeballs. Because at the end of the day, I love RC and I love it and I'm willing to make sacrifices for the RC community. We hope you guys notice that. And so when we fly these things at unusual hours for unusual reasons on tight deadlines, you probably don't realize how tight they are sometimes. This is an awesome, awesome helicopter. Super impressed. Can't believe I just crashed it and it didn't even phase the heli. And look at that paint job, guys. I gotta say, we've got a couple other variety of options right now and they are finished in a similar livery. So I'm glad we're getting a different one. It is really, ironically, very similar still. But yet, good lights, good flight performance, good optical flow sensing. And yes, you can crash it once in a while and it may not completely commit hara-kiri. But I gotta say, what a beaut. Guys, thanks so much for watching. This is Brian Phillips RC. If you wanna learn how to fly, if you wanna get back into RC, you're at the right place. We're gonna help you do it. There is a lot to learn, okay? We're gonna help you do it with fixed wing. We're gonna help you do it with helicopters. We're gonna help you do it with cars, trucks, VTOLs, boats, tanks, whatever it is that you can get that's RC and beyond. A lot of times the stuff we cover isn't RC, it's because it's related to taking care of our RC field, which is called an aerodrome. In our case, we have a giant runway here. This giant runway is not gonna be near as small as it is when we're done. There's gonna be a crosswind strip so that planes just like that can land here. In fact, that plane is super similar to the one that did land just a few short weeks ago right here on our very property, which is gonna be awesome. There's gonna be a hangar back there. You can see where the hay bales are. That's where the dirt pad's gonna go, and that's where the hangar is gonna be. There's gonna be a dam runway that goes across the dam, which is why we built the pond, or part of the reason we built the pond. Obviously the pond is awesome. But there's just so many cool things happening. And we want you guys to be here to share it with us because you're helping to make it happen. And we really, from the bottom of our hearts, want to thank you for helping to make it happen. Because I tell people, you know, when they ask, they say, how you doing? I say, living the dream. And then people say things like, oh, somebody's dream. And I'm like, no, it's mine. And we really are. And that's because you keep coming back, you keep watching, you keep subscribing, you keep buying these beautiful little creations from the links in the video description below, which really does help a lot. It's more than you probably realize to fund all of these ridiculous projects we're doing. And believe me, everything is expensive right now. It hurts my soul, including these. And so we hear it and we know it. But we love the hobby. And when you guys go in and you make your purchase decision, do it through the links. You'll help support Brian Phillips RC while you're getting the toy that your wife probably didn't want you to get. Or you could just talk your wife into loving it too. I mean, or you could just go win the lotto, whichever one comes first. So anyway, there it is, guys. The Xiang F08, because we all know what that means. Also known as the Bell 206. Absolutely extravagantly well done. And I gotta say, these helis are getting way better. But if you are a manual type flyer and you want to fly a regular heli, you don't want this, okay? For you, this is gonna feel like a toy. For me, it's gonna feel like freedom. Skills absent, upside down, flying into giant grass stalks. We have helicopters that'll cut that. Oh yeah. That'll cut that with no problem, okay? And we have blades that are bigger than this entire thing by a fair margin. And we know that a lot of you guys feel the same way, okay? So this video is probably not for you, but you gotta remember, these are the new children, the new babies in RC that are coming up. Help nurture them with the delicious milk that they need to get to the solid steak and delicious lobster tails and different things that like adults eat, okay? You gotta start somewhere. And if you quit and you're coming back, you gotta pick back up, and it's gonna take a little bit of effort. You're gonna get there, and we're gonna help you do it right here on Brian Phillips RC, because we care about you finding success, just like we found success, just like we struggled to get help. We're gonna help you find the help that you need, and we're gonna help encourage you the way that you need to be going. And we're gonna do it with expertise from recent vintage. I've been doing this 10 years. I've been doing RC my whole life. I've always loved aviation. I've always loved airplanes and helis. I wish I could have done this as a kid. I would have killed to do this as a kid, okay? And we're living our dream right now, and you should do the same. So if your dream includes this beautiful heli, check it out, links in the video description below. If it's not, maybe you want something bigger. We've done it. Maybe you want something slightly smaller, like say about 3/5 the size, which is also temptingly, delightfully one of my favorite small helis right now. Ironically, those both come in the same livery from two different manufacturers. Beautiful. Both of them are very good. One's a GPS heli drone. One is even less sophisticated than this, but it's super good flying. One of the better indoor or outdoor flying helicopters that we've ever offered on Brian Phillips RC. All you have to do is go to bprc.me and you can see playlists sorted by type, and you can compare and contrast to your heart's content. But this thing is all new from Xiang, and I think you'll like it. Remember, if you don't want to support us by buying this, stay tuned. You can watch our Unbox build radio setup, and we'll show you all the little tips and tricks that we bump into. There's not a lot on this Unbox build radio setup because we didn't have a lot to talk about. It's very basic, okay? but we're still gonna cover as much as we think we need to cover, and then probably more than anybody else covers. All right, guys, that's all we got for you. Thanks so much for watching. Other ways to support us, obviously smash the like button on the way out. Remember, the video's not quite over. Click the bell for notifications when you do subscribe so you know about the next thing that's coming from Brian Phillips RC. And we're gonna help protect your RC budget that way, so you're appraised of what's going on with the full truth, nothing but the truth. So help us God. So when I crash, we share. When we have mechanical failures, we share. And when we have successes, we share, okay? Every once in a while, we have one on the tail end there. Alternatively, if you want to support us financially, but you don't want to buy this heli, we have Patreon for monthly support. Thanks for being Patreons, guys. It really warms our hearts, and it's nice to have some consistent income to help fund all these gigantic projects, which, by the way, the excavator is still on hold. I don't know what the heck's going on. I have to call them. Then we have YouTube members, which is also monthly support. Thanks, members, for being members. It helps take some of the weight off our shoulders. Super thanks are always appreciated. Throwing us 10, 15 bucks, $5, whatever it happens to be in your wallet, that's cool. We really appreciate it. And then, of course, PayPal. If you want to avoid, fees and stuff like that, you can do friends and family there. So they're all open for business right now, but we really firmly, and we say this not just because we're trying to be humble or whatever, but we've been doing this. We don't really want the support. We want you to buy helicopters, airplanes, VTOLs, quads, trucks, cars, boats, because we all win then. We get the commissions, you get the plane or a boat or whatever it is, and then the manufacturer pays the fee. So it's great because we all win. Plus then they come to us and listen to us gripe about things that we didn't like about them, which is nice because you have an insider trail to get your gripes to the manufacturer. And yes, I do gripe. I've been told. There you have it. Stay tuned. So much more. Unbox next. YouTube, it's going to be amazing. This box right here contains something you've never seen before on this channel. It's probably a small flying object, but we're going to find out right now when we open this thing up. All right, you just got to check for paperwork and stuff. You ready?
I'm ready.
Warn me if you see it.
So far, so good.
Oh yes, it's a Bell 206, amazing gyro stabilized helicopter. Dang, that thing looks good. Wow, from XYZ RNC, Xiang.
Starting to charge.
Okay, I just kicked our poor Rosie. Okay, we're gonna open this thing up right now. As you know, we have had a few Bell 206s that have been pretty awesome lately. There's a little one and a bigger one, and they're both great. But you know what?
We needed a medium-sized one.
This size and this size, there's a middle ground, okay? So I am dying to see this thing, and I love the livery. So without further ado, we're gonna open this thing up. Oh, look, it's got that goofy, useless feature.
Oh.
One touch inverted flight.
We'll find out.
Okay. No, we've had it before. We had it on this one. Right there. Boom.
No, the gold one.
Oh yeah, it was a little one.
It was a little or gold one.
Little one.
And that was an RC Aero one.
Oh, I have no idea. All I know is this is Xiang, so.
Yes.
Xiang.
Usually is pretty good.
Yeah, they're good, but the manuals are terrible.
Well, they're all terrible.
Some are less terrible than others, though.
Some are more fun for me to read, so we'll
Okay,
see.
so let's figure this out real quick. We have this horizontal stabilizer set, so that needs to be mounted, and they look super detailed, by the way. And I just gotta say, something about a Bell 206 is just phenomenal. Look at this, we have a line cutter here. I wonder if we have a line cutter on the bottom. And beautiful blades. I hope the blade doesn't look too small on this. That was one thing that I feared on this helicopter, is it seemed like the blade might be a little bit small. But man, look, it's got a bubble window here. Bubble window here. All the tinted glass is so sweet, but it's actually, no, it's really tinted glass. Look, you can see through it. Find the light.
Yep,
see?
I could.
So it actually is tinted glass. So when you fly this in the sun, you'll be able to see through it. Of course, cool. It's fly barless like we've come to expect. And it looks like this has an LED. Sweet. I hope it works.
Ooh, cool.
Brushless direct drive here. And yeah, those horizontal stabilizer. What now?
There's another LED on the bottom.
Yes, there is. There's your other motor. So direct drive. I'm a little bit nervous about that wire though. That's like right where you're gonna be pressing in the battery. So I'm gonna push that in and around so that it pulls down behind there, because this battery goes in to that little balance lead right there, okay? So let's talk about the batteries real quick, okay? So these are batteries that we got with ours, 2 of them. You can order it with as many or as few as you want. Well, not as many or as few. I think you can get 1, 2, or 3.
Up to 3.
So you wake it up by pressing the button, and then you shut it off by doing this, okay? There's also a 1S micro pH plug here, okay? And then this is where, oh, look, 7.4 volts at 1200 milliamps. This is a 1200 milliamp hour battery, 25C, but these are not going to be something that you can just use with anything, okay? How do these charge? Let's look. Okay, so this has a charger involved. There's a charger somewhere.
Yep, somewhere.
And the transmitter's the standard Xiang non-heli drone option. Okay, now I'm not saying there's not a heli drone for this, but if there is one, we don't know about it yet. Okay, so this is the style that has a spring-loaded collective, okay? So this is gonna lean you. This is gonna go up to take off. This is gonna go down to land. It's also got a manual, and then look at this mode. They actually have better screw pitch. What the frick is that supposed to mean? No switch for throttle hold. I don't like that. This is probably shut the machine off.
Probably.
Unlock the machine. Yeah, really. If you're going to have a bunch of ambiguous buttons, you really should have a throttle cut. But we'll come back to that. And let's talk about this for a quick second. These transmitters are just fine. 4 AA's are required. It does not come with the 4 AA's in this kit, okay? If you're getting this in China, I bet it would. There's nothing under there, so... Okay, I'm missing...
Oh, wait. The charger cable is in here.
Yeah, but that's just a cable.
No, it's USB-C, because these are the
Where's
ones
the
that have the
USB-C?
USB-C
Where?
on the side, right here.
Oh, that's what I was looking for, because
Yeah.
I was like, there's got to be a charger somewhere, because these things also have a docking station on some of the variety that we've worked with. Oops, I left some of this stuff out. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this. We're going to unbox, build radio setup just like we normally do with a helicopter. You've already seen it fly. We always lead off with the flights on these little helicopters. And if there's a considerable amount of build, it might actually be a separate video someday. But for now, most of the time, we're just dealing with essentially pull it out of the box.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why we really like these helicopters, is because it's a low time commitment and a really high payback for us, because we love the experience of flying and not necessarily the experience of putting together a model. Now, obviously, you can see lots of models that are right around us. All these models take time for us to put together, but we love doing it here on Brian Phillips RC. So if you need help, you're at the right place, because we show all the details you're gonna wanna know, and then probably a little bit more. So these are the spare prop blades for the main rotor, and then we have a spare tail rotor, okay? Which is ironic. I mean, we've had a few crashes here and there, but we've never actually had to replace these blades that I know of.
I don't think
so. Here we go. We got USB-A to USB-C, and this is actually a pretty good length cable, so we've been needing one of those. That's kind of a joke, because we have like 4 trillion of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'll put this with the box. I love the livery though, and I love this. See how it's got this little sharp edge down here? It looks like a more modern version. And some of the other bells we have, I don't think they have that same
sharp
design,
edge?
that sharp edge. Maybe this one does. Maybe they do, I don't know. Yeah, they do.
Does.
Yeah, that one has it, but it's not, I don't know.
This one's maybe not as pronounced.
Maybe it's just in my head. But all I got to say is I'm super excited for this one. We're gonna put the tail feathers on. We're gonna see how they go on, but we gotta get things charging right now. So that's what we're gonna do right now. So let's show you how to do this. Now, real quick, I just wanted to point out, we have lots of batteries like this too. And these batteries are on the second tray down. I gotta do something better about this. But you can see this is the way we had to use for charging before. And so I don't know if this will work, because yeah, it's a different size.
Different size.
So you've got a helicopter like this from a previous model. It probably is not going to work. And I bring that to your attention because I want you to be aware of it. Because like this one, same thing. It's got this style of plug, okay? But you can still put the lights on if you chose to add a light, which is pretty cool. So if you wanted to put that little under light, you could take a light off of this, but then they have to slide on and off. And so it's gonna be married to just one of the batteries. So like here you can see these kits. We have one that came with each of them, okay?
Yes.
So if you end up buying a helicopter and there's an option for the light, you'll understand kind of what they're talking about with that information. So, where did that?
It was in the row of batteries.
It's right here.
Oh.
We have this Ruco charger. So this is in our accessories or supplies, or what do we call it?
Supplies.
So like where the glue is and everything on Brian Phillips RC. So we plug this in. We have USB-A to USB-C. So that's the A plug. And then we'll just plug this one in. USB-C is nice because you can plug it in either direction. And then it's gonna have a little status light that comes up and just toggles through. Now, what's kind of nice is if we had another USB-C to C, we could charge that other one.
Right.
But I think for now, what we're gonna do is we'll just grab another charger. This is like the world's crappiest charger right here. So we'll go ahead and plug that in, and we'll just use this one. And we'll get these things charging so that we can finish the rest of our Unbox build radio setup. Now, as you could probably imagine, there isn't that much to build or set up on this heli, but we do want to kind of go through this process so that you guys aren't blindsided by anything. And I just don't think anybody's gonna be blindsided by this really in-depth assembly.
By those 2 pieces.
Yeah. And I gotta say, look at the details, guys. We have these rivets.
Here, I'm gonna show them one.
The plastic is it just looks so dang good. And it's actually got the airfoil shape to it. So I'm kind of hoping that actually changes the way it flies, and it does make it fly better. You just push them in, I guess. Now, there are no LEDs on these.
Right.
But they have a simulated bump there.
Is that just a pressure fit?
Feels like a pressure fit, but I'm wondering, are we supposed to glue it, you suppose?
I don't know. Do we need to read?
Let's look at the instructions and see what the instructions say.
For the F08.
The F08, that just clears it all up.
Really, now I know all the things.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a marker, and we're gonna just mark the back of our transmitter, which is what we oftentimes do.
This is a 1/27th scale for people if they were wondering.
Yeah, 1/27th. We did one not too long ago that was a 1/32nd, and it was that Bell Huey over there.
And we will definitely read this whole manual before.
Look at this, you need 2 fingers.
Oh, well, it's to push all the buttons at the same time?
Okay, so hold on. Before we get any further, let's talk about this for a second. So this is the Bell 206, okay? So this is how we do it. Bell 206, and this is the one, how much, 22nd?
127.
27th?
Yes.
So I'm gonna say black, red, and white. Okay?
Okay.
And that way we can tell, because when you get a lot of transmitters, you're gonna need to differentiate between them. Okay, so now I am just gonna point out something I noticed about this helicopter. As much as I love the scale lines of that blade does look small compared to the actual aircraft. And it might just be in my head, but I'm trying to compare it to other ones. Let's look at the helicopter. Okay, so what else do we need to figure out? If it's gluing or not.
And I didn't see anything. I've already gotten to the Chinese part, and I didn't see anything about assembly.
Notes on downward vision mode. So there's downward vision mode, meaning it's got an optical flow sensor is what they call that. The downward vision system relies on the camera to lock onto objects below and limit the takeoff altitude to 8 meters. Please avoid taking off from rooftops or flying over rooftops, as it may cause the downward vision to fail, resulting in aircraft drift. In such cases, immediately fly the aircraft back to switch to manual stability mode. The downward vision system cannot recognize surfaces without textured features and cannot function properly in environments with insufficient or excessive lighting. Okay.
Usually water, too, is a problem.
The following scenarios are where the downward vision system cannot work. Solid colored surfaces. Solid black, solid white, solid red, solid green. Surfaces with strong reflectors or reflections. Water surfaces or surfaces of transparent objects. Surfaces of moving objects. So where does it work? This has just ruled out all of humanity.
Okay,
whatever. So just don't plan on the damn thing working. How about that, guys? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna basically look at this. Aircraft locking. So switch down for a long beep to lock. Gosh, this thing is just like, it's glary as heck when I'm trying to, are you having trouble with it too?
No, but I can see
Switch down for a long beep to lock, switch up to unlock while in the air will cause the motor to stop and crash. Okay, so that's what we were talking about earlier, and I just wanted to make sure we mentioned this. When you move this switch down, it's gonna kill the engine, okay? It's gonna kill the motor no matter what you're doing, so don't do that unless you want to. Okay, so this is very important right here. Check out this. Okay, so motor start, perform the throttle stick action to start the motor, immediately release the sticks after starting the motor, push the throttle stick upward by more than 50 and it will take off. Okay, so keep in mind, this is 50. That's up, goes up, that's down, goes down. It's spring return to the center. A normal collective would be down like this and you would slide it up into position and that would be the extremity, okay? So it matters, okay? So this is gonna lean your helicopter forward, this is gonna lean you back, this is gonna lean you to the right, to the left, okay? So it's all pretty basic controls, but the important part is this is not like another style of heli, and I'm just gonna show you one other style of helicopter, okay? So this is one we did not too long ago. So this is a collective. See how it's not spring return, okay? And then this is still the cyclic, which is gonna pitch the rotor and thus control the position of the helicopter, okay? So that's not to be confused with a standard transmitter for a helicopter or airplane in this case. And this would be not spring return, okay? This would be rudder. So it's still true on this one. This would be aileron, so it's gonna tip the helicopter. And then this would pitch you forward, pitch you back, yaw, yaw, and then up or down. And it's either up from a pitch change or throttle change or both. It depends on the type of helicopter system you're flying with. And on these fly barless controllers that happen to be running through a sophisticated flight controller, you're pretty much, it's fly by suggestion, okay? Now, sometimes the suggestions are better and sometimes they're worse. Hold still. Oh,
Did you get it?
Nope. We have a fly. It's been annoying.
It has been.
All right, so without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing ready to fly. And when we fly this, it should be relatively easy, but we have to load batteries, so we're gonna do that right now. All right, so we're gonna put the batteries in the transmitter. This is pretty simple stuff. Just pop the transmitter cover off. The flat part goes to the spring. Again, you do have to provide these yourself, even though this comes as a purportedly ready to fly helicopter, you have to provide your own batteries, okay? So that's true unless you're getting it from an American distribution, and then sometimes American distributed products will come with actual batteries. Okay, so why are you so far back? This is a scale, it says 0, okay? We're gonna measure the battery. It's 7980 grams. We're gonna measure the helicopter. It's 221. Okay, so that's not sub 250. So that's a huge miss, because this thing could be sub 250 if they were more careful. So that being said, we tell you it's sub 250. That means you don't need remote ID, which is kind of nice. I'm not like super particularly worried about it. If you want to fly inside of a FRIA, you don't have to worry about it. You don't need to get my permission to fly outside of a FRIA without a remote ID module. But at some point, somebody is eventually going to get caught and there's going to be trouble for somebody. So if you don't want the trouble, then all you need to do is get something like this. It's either a Sky module like this, which is more expensive. That would be more set up for if you're using a Spectrum system. And then you can get this Roku or Ruco thing, which is ironically the same brand as this adapter thing. Mm-hmm. So yes, it was like, okay, yeah, we'll use that thing. But this is cheap, it's like 35 bucks, okay? Now, does it fit in the helicopter? I don't know. You can always wrap it in aluminum foil and throw it in there because this thing weighs like 13 grams. So let's just see if it fits in there. Okay. There's a spot up there. Yeah, that ain't gonna fit. Well, go back there. Nope, the motor's right there. So this is probably gonna be one of these things where you gotta mount the thing on here, and that's gonna be ridiculous. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, it's between you and God how much that battery weighs. Because if there's some FAA agent flying around in some, you know, like magic carpet and they catch your helicopter up there in the sky. I think, you know, for all intents and purposes, it's kind of between you, yourself, and your lawyer, whether or not you want to follow rules. If you fly to free, it doesn't matter, okay? So, I'm gonna just put this in here. First things first, we're gonna turn on the transmitter. You have to press and hold that, by the way, okay? And then I'm gonna slide this in. Now, this doesn't turn on the Heli until you press to wake up the battery, okay? This is not fully charged, by the way. And I'm just checking above me. These two things get pressed in, and then it drops into the lock point. And then you press and hold this. Okay, so now that that's on, the Heli is technically capable of flying at this point. What do you think, camera crew? Just try it?
We can try it.
How about
I'm gonna
this?
go to the floor like over here where I'm standing.
Yeah, just in case it goes
Okay, so
haywire. Okay, so now there's a green light. Don't confuse that with GPS heli drone. If this was GPS heli drone, you'd have a more sophisticated transmitter, okay? So down and out locks it, or arms it rather. Okay, that was kind of weird. So down and out arms it. Maybe it was already armed.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so because it's spun halfway, I'm just gonna do it with this tool just in case all heck breaks loose. That is very weird. What the heck is it doing? Okay, so down and out.
Are you in the unlocked switch?
That's locked.
Okay.
That's unlocked. Down and out. Well, that's weird. Okay, so I'm sort of reluctant to touch it because look, it's like it wants to spin, but it's not. Okay? So how do you kill it? Put that down. Okay, so I'm gonna just, woo! It beeped at me. Why are you beeping at me? Don't beep at me. Now I unlocked.
The battery is coming out. The battery is falling out of the front.
Okay. It is. What the heck? I didn't get this thing snapped in, guys. That's why it died halfway through. Because it must have popped out when I did that. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna show you what I did wrong. I'm gonna shut this off. Okay, so it's off all the way. Then I'm gonna slide this in. You see those pins go in here, okay? So this slides in. I thought I had it in there.
I thought you did too.
Okay, and then these two things, they slide in like this, okay? Okay, so that feels terrible, but I know it's in now. Now I'm gonna power it up by pressing this button. There it goes. I heard it arm that time. Did you hear that?
Oh,
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
now we have red lights and flashing.
Okay, good. So now we have a solid green, which means we're connected and sticks are down and out. Okay, there we go. So now I can go up. There it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna say this right now. That thing went up. I felt like I had pretty limited control over the exact position, okay? It went higher than I expected and it was looser than I expected. So I think that tells me there's a high and low rate here. And my guess is we're probably gonna have to fly this thing outside because it's a little bit more like out of control than I wanted it to be. I'm sure it's gonna be fine outside, but I'm not gonna fly it in here because it was everything I had on those sticks to get it away from the counter. And then I was having visions of hitting that Cessna.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fly it outside. You guys have already seen it fly outside. I just wanna talk about the features that we know of, which are gonna be awesome LEDs here. That is gonna flash yellow as it's trying to find the connection to the transmitter. And then of course you're also gonna have lights here, which are on the battery. Now I did not fully charge that, just full disclosure. And by the way, you can put that light on here if you have one of the lights from the other helicopters that you've previously used, okay? So I'm gonna press those two buttons and then I'm gonna pull down here, or up in this case, because it's upside down. and then the battery comes out. It's a pretty easy loading procedure, but I just did not have it fully snapped in, okay? So then when you're ready to charge, you just plug it into your USB-A to C. And once you're plugged in, then it starts charging. You wanna see those lights flash. That means that it's between 75 and 100%. So if this one was flashing, it'd be 25, 0 to 25. This would be 25 to 50. This would be 50 to 75, and then 75 to 100. So there you have it. It's pretty easy to get in the air, but I am not gonna risk it because there is a low and a high rate. You hear the beep beep? So that's gonna give you either low or high rates, and this definitely does shut off the motor. So when you get it to the ground, you have to hold that thing down for a moment. And that's true on other brands that we've worked with. You hold it down, eventually it kills the motor. Or you can come in here and hit the kill switch, which stops the motor spinning, okay? So real quick, if you didn't see what I was doing, stay where you are, please. This arms it, and then it will go ahead and spin up. Once it's spinning, you use this and it takes off, okay? If you wanna come down, this gives it encouragement down, this gives it encouragement up. When you let it go, it just stays neutral where it is, okay? So it holds the altitude, but again, this thing felt like maybe a little bit loose in here.
I think you were on the optical flow mode too, instead of manual mode. I don't know if that would have made a difference.
Optical flow and manual?
Yeah, were you up versus down?
I don't know.
Oh, it's like a toggle or like a...
I don't know. We'll have to try it outside. But the truth is, this thing will be fine outside. It's got plenty of authority to fly outside, and that's the key, is that this size class is probably in the middle of flying inside and flying out. I flew this one the other day. I flew it inside. It was still kind of like a little bit on the edge of feeling comfortable. The smaller ones like this do really good in the small indoor spaces. I mean, granted, we have 16 feet of clearance here right at the center, but there's lots of obstructions and planes in every direction. And the thing is, this blade plus that F7F equals me pissed off, because I like this helicopter, but I like that F7F too. And I'd really like them to not try to make a baby together.
Right, that would not.
It's gonna be one explosive combination. Okay, so hopefully we answered all the questions that you might have had. And if we haven't, we're obviously gonna be doing it in the flight part where we're outside, okay? So you've already seen it at the beginning of this video. We just don't know what to tell you because we haven't seen it ourselves yet, okay? So you may have noticed that this is out of order, and that's the way we do it with helicopters this size, and sometimes with cars and trucks or boats where there's just kind of limited amount of information that needs to be gleaned from an Unbox build radio setup. So hopefully we did answer those questions you had. And obviously when you order, one thing to keep in mind, when you follow the links from the video description below, you can look for manuals, you can also look for parts, and you can order the helicopter if you choose to get one of these to help support Brian Phillips RC. But one thing I'm gonna recommend you do, get as many batteries as you think you might need, because these are unique to this helicopter. Now, unless you happen to get another Bell 206 or you get another offering and it just happens to have the same size, which we have seen a couple batteries shared between two different models, a lot of times the colors don't match and they just look really dumb. So just keep in mind, these are gonna be specialty batteries, but I could take this apart and replace that battery if I wanted to, but it's gonna involve soldering and some effort, and you're gonna have to find a bare pack, and that might be a little easier said than done. Okay, so that being said, Xiang makes a mean helicopter, and so I'm excited to see this thing fly outside. If you guys have questions, comments, leave them down below, and we'll do the best to get back to you. And in the meantime, we appreciate you watching. If you wanna support us in ways that are not buying this helicopter, we have 4 other main ways. Patreon for monthly support. If you want to be one of our supporters, we appreciate you guys. If you're already one of them, thanks for being there. And then YouTube members. You can be a member just similar to Patreon, except over on YouTube. You can do that as well, and we really appreciate you guys doing that. Or one-time donations through Super Thanks are always appreciated. And then, of course, PayPal if you don't want to involve yourselves in any of those other programs. Totally fine, no matter which direction you go or no directions, because honestly, we just want you watching the content. Smash a like button, it'll help us out with the algorithm here on YouTube so that we're recommended to people that might be interested in this type of product. and this type of experience, because here on Brian Phillips RC, we really do take a deep dive into as many details as we can humanly cover in one video. That's why they're long, that's why they're tedious at times, but we want to try to give you guys a leg up on the competition, because the competition is going to tell you how perfect it is and how you need to buy one every time, no matter what. We're going to tell you what our real experience was, and if it was a crappy real experience, well, so be it, because we don't owe these guys anything. We owe you something. And that's why we really appreciate our audience on YouTube. If you're brand new to the hobby, we're gonna help get you up to speed. If you're just returning to the hobby, there's a lot to learn. We're gonna get you there, okay? Trust us, it just takes a little bit of time. It's not gonna be one video. We have literally thousands of videos. Trust us, it's gonna take a few videos for you to get up to speed, okay? Don't feel left in the dark. If you wanna learn, you can binge watch a whole bunch of videos right now. Brian Phillips RC is one of the easiest ways to find what you're looking for. You can also go to bprc.me, which is our short link to Brian Phillips RC, in case you don't know how to spell my name, Brian Phillips. You just go over there, brianphillipsrc.com, or you can go to bprc.me. Then you can do side-by-side comparisons between this helicopter and other helicopters we've done in the past, or maybe that one like that, or you just get sidetracked and you go to airplanes. That's fine too, because obviously we do a lot of fixed wing on Brian Phillips RC. We're gonna help you get from the box into the air, or better yet, what we like to say, from the chair to the air, because if you're just watching from the sidelines, what are you waiting for? You need to be flying with us, because at the end of the day, we want to help improve your circumstances. We want to give you the best crack at success, and we're going to help you do that by giving you answers to questions you didn't even know to ask. Those feel loose. So, that being said, if we haven't answered your questions, leave it in the comments below. And if you're a Patreon member, that's a really good way to get a hold of us for questions. We see those comments, I get notifications for those, which is nice, because it's a very small group of people, and over on YouTube, it's just a gigantic group. So it's really hard for me to keep up with everything, but we do try our best. Anything I'm missing here, camera crew?
I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, so if you have questions, like I said, leave them down below. Don't forget to click the bell for notifications when you do subscribe, if you're brand new to the hobby, or if you're just returning to the hobby, because we will have lots of new content, and maybe the next one will be a better fit for you if this wasn't exactly what you were looking for. Keep in mind, sometimes helicopters come like this. They're kind of like a computerized flying thing. And then sometimes they come like one of these, where you're more of an involved, pilot. Like something like this, it's going to be more sophisticated, obviously a lot more dangerous. You actually hurt yourself with this. That thing, you're probably not going to hurt yourself unless you're trying hard. Or something like this that's really small. We do all the different steps in pretty much all the retail price point, okay? We're not going to be flying 700 size unless we get one and above, because we would love to do that. But the thing is, we just haven't gotten there yet. So these are really right in the sweet spot of what I have near and dear to my heart, because even those big ones down there are quite expensive. And so if you want something that's going to wet the whistle, and it's going to be a little easier to see from a distance, this is a good place to be, okay? Is it everything to everybody? I kind of doubt it. Just like any other product that you've seen us do on this channel. There's going to be exceptions to each one of them. There's gonna be things I don't like about them, and there's gonna be things I love about them. And that's what we do here on Brian Phillips RCs. We show you the full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. And at the end of the day, you can use that to make a good decision with your limited RC budget, okay? So that's all we got for you today. Thanks for watching this. If you're not into helis, remember there's tons of airplane content right now on Brian Phillips RC. That's gonna redirect you back to playlists. Or if you find something you just can't live without, remember to order it as soon as possible, because we're getting into the buying season for Christmas, and it's gonna get kind of hairy on stock, okay? So if you're wanting a helicopter like this, follow the links in the video description below. You do help to support us financially when you do that. Small commissions come back to us, but we don't care if you buy this one or that one or that one or another one that you've seen in a recent vintage. And we have done a ton of helicopters lately. I've always had a sweet spot for helicopters. You may not know this about Brian Phillips RC, but I actually started with my first actual flying craft was many years before we started this channel, and it was a CP1 made by Blade, okay? And I had nothing but failure with that thing. We spent tons of money, and to be honest, it was cheap at the time compared to many of the competitive offerings. But I could only take off and have that tail boom pointed at me, and I could not get past it. I crashed it into my wife's cabinets, which were oak hardwood cabinets, and I blew up the main rotor, and that was the end of flying in our kitchen, okay? Well, now that we are in this place and I'm a better pilot, I fly in the kitchen all the time, but I've still put scratches on the wall.
Once.
And it was only small helicopters that did that, okay? If I would have done that with a helicopter the size I crashed, it would have been very bad. There would have been like drywall patching going on.
Yeah.
So just remember, we're here to help get you from where you are right now to where you want to be, okay? There's a lot of people on YouTube that are going to show you how well they work. They're going to show you lots of tricks and things that you can't ever do. And I'm not that guy. I don't fly 3D. I can put them upside down for a second. I'm not cutting the grass unless I got a computer helping me, which I hope to attain with this for a second. And if you want to do that, then you can follow along on the steps that we do. Just remember, I'm not an exceptional helicopter pilot. My focus is more on fixed wing, and that's where my skills lie, is more with fixed wing. And I've been doing it for about 10 years, okay? So if you want to get there, don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait 6 months, don't wait 2 years. Everybody has a good excuse for not flying, but there's never been an easier time in history than to start flying right now. So if you want to fly tomorrow, start today, because you're not going to get there unless you start today. If you want to be good in 6 months, then start today and work hard, because it's going to be hard to get there in 6 months. And there's nothing, in terms of hobbies, there's not a lot of hobbies that are going to be quite as challenging, but also super rewarding as flying RC airplanes, helicopters, quads, VTOLs, that sort of stuff. It's super invigorating. So I can't encourage you enough to do it. All right, that's all we got for you tonight. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we answered all your questions on this beautiful Bell 206 from Xiang. And if you have more, just leave them down below. We'll get right back to you. Stay tuned. So much more from Brian Phillips RC.